It's 6 minutes past 6 GMT. Welcome to Weekend from the BBC World Service with me, Julian Warwicker. To the United States, inevitably first, and once again, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have been in the same swing state, this time in North Carolina, competing for voters with just 2 days to go before Election Day. Both rivals held multiple events across the state on Saturday. In the city of Charlotte, Kamala Harris was joined by musicians Bon Jovi and Khalid and made this plea to her supporters.
We need everyone to vote North Carolina. You all will make the difference in this election. You will make the difference. So look, it all comes down to this. We are all here together because we love our country. We love our country. And here's what we know. When you love something, you fight for it.
And Donald Trump had a similar message for his supporters in Virginia.
Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. It really is. It's in your hands. On Tuesday, you have to stand up. You have to tell Kamala. And you can't call her Harris. You know why? Because nobody knows. I mean, you say Harris. Who the hell is Harris? The whole thing doesn't work, so we'll just call her Kamala. You're going to tell her that you've had it, Kamala. You're the worst vice president in history. You're terrible at what you do. You've destroyed our country. Kamala, you're fired.
Well, more than 70 million people have already cast their vote, but pollsters suggest that both candidates are still running neck and neck. Well, we can get a perspective on this now by talking to Erol Morkoc, who's a spokesperson for the Republican Party, who joins me on the line from California. Erol, welcome to the programme. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
North Carolina, how important is this to your side?
Well, it's critical. Let's keep in mind Trump's rally in North Carolina is reflecting the significance to him as a crucial battleground state. There's been record early voting, as you had touched on, and the electorate is closely divided. The polls have indicated it's a tighter race than we would like. We lead marginally, and we're confident with that. But, his campaign has been there focusing on issues resonating strongly with North Carolinians, such as border security, economic growth, veteran support. And with that high turnout and strong GOP enthusiasm, North Carolina has this conservative base and a pivotal bevy of independent voters that are responding very well to Trump's message, especially given their frustrations with inflation and rising crime under the current administration. So Trump is there kind of putting a last firewall on a state that we do have the lead on, but it's a critical state and a state that Kamala Harris made a severe thrust into until recently she's had to divert some resources out.
As you say, it is tight, and the demographics of the state have changed over time, haven't they? Sharp rise in the Latino and Asian American population. 1 in 5 voters is black. Traditionally, that might favour the Democrats. Does that concern you at all?
No, quite to the contrary. With Asians, we're about 50-50. We've done very well. We're doing record numbers with Hispanic men and Hispanic women. Many Hispanic immigrants to America are Catholics and are strong value, family value people. When you look at polling, especially with black men, Trump is doing better than ever. With black women, no. But with all of these former groups, the GOP has become a Big Tent. I'm an immigrant to America from Turkey. My neighbor is a Trump supporter from China. So it's a Big Tent. We have a lot of new people in the fold. We have, LGBTQ for Trump. There's all sorts of people who never were there before. Just look at the Muslim vote in Dearborn and the mayor of Dearborn Heights coming out, and the Somali vote coming out in Minnesota today. All across the board, groups that never came into our camp are now solidified behind President Trump.
One thing I think, can safely say about this is it's going to be very, very close. And, you've been very candid about how it looks in North Carolina. It clearly looks like that across the country when the whole picture is painted just at this stage. What will Donald Trump do if he loses?
If Donald Trump loses, I think that he's going to have left a indelible mark on American politics, and the people who will come after him and will carry that torch will be standing on the shoulder of giants.
Mm.
If the question is referring to what happened on J6, that was an unfortunate situation where a lot of patriotic Americans got carried away and some bad apples infiltrated it and took things out of hand.
But
But
are you sure he will accept defeat if it happens this time?
as long as it's above board, and he will of course challenge anything that looks to be scurrilous or perhaps questionable. But you have to keep in mind, and your viewers have to realize, he conceded the election by default just because he's unhappy with it, the same way that Mrs. Clinton left claiming that he was a Russian agent and published a fake Steele dossier and all these things. They delegitimized his presidency when he came in, and he might have tried to do a little bit of the same. But as far as inauguration day, Joe Biden was inaugurated,
Okay.
and Donald Trump didn't do any sort of military action or use any parts of the U.S. government to do any sort of insurrection. So I expect no violence whatsoever, just a lot of disappointment from a lot of Americans who really believe in this man and think he's the choice for the future, myself included.
Good to have your sentiments on the programme. Thank you very much, Erol Morkoc, spokesperson for the Republican Party in California. As you would expect, you will hear voices from all sides of the debate in America over the coming 3 hours.